Okay, hopefully it doesn't glitch too much at the beginning like my last couple videos. I'm feeling extremely lazy. I didn't put on a better shirt. I just grabbed the hat. Like, whatever. um, I know it's a day early to do this video, but I have other videos that I want to do, and I want to be a little more focused when I do them rather than just kind of like, yeah, this is a recap. So if you didn't already watch the introductory video, it was episode number 283 from what, 3 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago or so. I don't know. Anyway, technically tomorrow would be the proper day to air this, because I'm not really counting Saturdays as part of the week in Boots. So Friday would be the day, but I'm doing it a day early. I don't know what I'm going to wear tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to wear Saturday. But last week, that challenge started off with the hero boots, and I didn't even bother to bring in the hero boots because if you're really that interested in how they look, they didn't age much since I finished the previous challenge, which was episode 276, I think was the finale here, from before Christmas and New Year's. And then I did the bit about Mocktober where I showed the Oak Street boots. And I will talk about these briefly. And then I did the boot talk video and the other one, like whatever. So yeah, recently I did some other boot videos not related to this challenge or tangentially. So these are in the rotation officially, but I wore them for maybe like 5 minutes today. I got as far as the mailbox, and I decided that they felt kind of funny compared to how I remember them feeling, and I couldn't remember if I wanted to put an insole in them. I think these were the ones I don't remember now. I might have had an insole in them or meant to put an insole in them, but that insole ended up back in these boots. So I'll come back to that in a minute. I think those were the insoles I was going to use for those. Anyway, so last week I started off with the hero boots, but only for like a couple hours when I went for a walk when it was drizzling a little or it might rain, but the big storm had already abated, so I didn't need the Keen utility waterproof boots or the other waterproof boots, all that. So then the rest of that week, I pretty much just wore the Thursday Captain, the original ones, or the more original ones or whatever with the different last. And again, these I also showed a whole bunch in the previous challenge video and the other Thursday video, which was episode, I don't know. Somewhere in there I did an overview of Thursday boots, I thought. Might have been longer ago, I thought, than it was. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure when I did that. Well, if you go through my boot, oh, here it is, overview. Chapter 265. So if you go to my boots playlist, Boot Central, it'll be a lot faster to find that than if you stay in the regular menu with all the other clothing and non-related videos. But so yeah, so I did talk about these and the hero boots and the other 3 ones that I was kind of rotating in or whatever. I don't remember. I promised I'll do the black coffee. I almost did those this week and then kind of didn't. So I'm going to shelve these and wear those because, yeah, I want people to see how that leather ages kind of more than how this leather ages, because this leather is kind of like meant to, kind of get scuffed up and everything and da-da-da and not necessarily be a dressy boot or whatever. So as you can see, not a little bit of scuffing and such, but not a ton of wear since, again, last month when I pulled these out. And these are I was saying, you know, these were technically the wrong size or fit or whatever, but I'm kind of used to wearing them. So once I get them in and start going, like, I don't know, they fit me kind of better than some of the other ones that are the right size. So I don't know. It's one of those weird anomalies that I cannot explain, because this was one where I did size down the half a size. So technically they should be just measuring my feet, but after the initial couple weeks where I was getting heel blisters pretty bad, once that wore off, they've been fine. And the foam in the footbed of these has been actually a lot more comfortable than those other Hero boots for some reason that are the right size, that are, I don't know, that the foam just squished in them prematurely or something in a kind of a weird way. And I put them on and I feel like my sock is rumpled or something, even though like it's not, or I don't know, the right foot especially, something about it drives me kind of half nuts. So good thing I don't have to wear those all the time, because I'm, you know, not expecting rain anytime soon. And I'll figure it out someday what's what the, you know, is going on with that perhaps. These ones, I haven't used a shoe tree with these. I don't know if it would help, because most of the shoe trees kind of are supposed to go past this kind of fold. So I'm not really positive, but these have always kind of broken in correctly out of all the ones. And I still have the original laces with them, although they are, for their claims of nearly indestructible, they are showing distress in some spots. You can see the fuzziness. Okay, if it'll focus. Maybe it's focusing on my face at the same time. So, okay, let's try it. Okay, good. You can kind of see that one. So I don't know if or when these will break. It's mostly that boot. This boot's not that bad, so I don't need to try and do an extreme close-up thing. This video is going to be longer than it should, apparently, already. Anyway, so that was mostly last week, and I wore these on Sunday. So technically this week, I think. I don't remember. But so like I said, Saturday I had switched to the JK, but only for like an hour or something. It wasn't for very long. It ended up being kind of a weird day. I don't know what happened there. Usually I think I'm a little bit active on Saturday, but for some reason it wasn't in boots. I think I was in the garage sorting some clothes or something. I don't even remember. It wasn't that long ago, but anyway, so now, okay, dang it, thing. Okay, well, anyway, so, you know, longer than I wore these, though. I wore these in the last few hours. They have been, will it focus on the stupid thing? I don't know. This is going to be a fun video. All right. Okay, it likes things up close all of a sudden. There we go. Okay, so I wore these for about 5 hours this week total, so they literally show also no real additional wear and tear at all. I love this amateur hour, but I can trim most of that later, so I shouldn't even be mentioning it now, because then you'll be like, trim what? The blurry minute. Anyway, so this is, yeah, the stitch down with the heels and the blah, 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 and the honey outsole and the big heavy. So basically, as I've talked about before, I was going to possibly get these rebuilt with the true logger heel and more arch support and all that, but I wanted to wear out this outsole first before I bothered to spend money on such kind of project. So they're back in rotation after I tried to wear them in the warmer weather back in like October and was like, okay, these are just heavy and warm and hot, and I don't need to be heavy and warm and hot right now. And as I was talking about, they do have an insole in them that did not come with them. I put this insole in them, and once I did that, they weren't too big and sloppy because the fit was never quite perfect to begin with. So I don't know if and when I get them rebuilt, what I will change exactly. I will probably go to a less wide width slightly, and definitely get rid of the rough out that I don't need. But other than that, they are just what they are. Heavy duty work boots, and I don't need heavy duty work boots all that much. Like I said, I'm just trying to get my money's worth out of the outsole before I figure out if I want to revisit them in another fashion or whatever. Again, these were the Oak Street ones. Like I said, I need an outsole on these because they were pulling all the way to, you know, here, but then still kind of more long than wide sliding issue. A little bit kind of slippery. I think I thought that if I wore them around enough that would kind of break in, and I think that might be true, but I need to do that in the house more than out on the street where, you know, I might have to dodge cars or dogs or weird women or something. I don't know. You never know what you're going to encounter. But anyway, so I don't know if I should count this as in the rotation yet or not, or still, or if I will bother with them enough to count them in the next update or not. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. There's still tomorrow. There's still Saturday, whatever. So this is going on a little bit long, but so the main boot that got worn this week was the Thorogood mock toe, which of course is more of a work mock toe than that previous mock toe. Which is kind of why I was showing the mock toes. So you can see the shaping is a bit different. This one, you could argue, is technically a little bit small on me, but if I went to a wider, it's the same problem. Closing this would be an issue because this is already cinching way up to here. And of course, this is the 8-inch version, not the 6-inch version. So that becomes a little less relevant. I don't think you need to have this be totally tight. You know, I think if it's tight to here, you're probably fine. But still, that's what laces and such are for, right? So yeah, I have been wearing this one, but of course, it's not really like necessarily creasing and aging in like the ways you'd want, because of course, it's just getting scuffed. So it's like, okay, I didn't necessarily need all these weird scuff marks from hitting the, I don't know, the curb or the door or whatever happens. And I'm not sure about these, is it styrations or whatever in the leather, where it's kind of, it looks less smooth now than I recall. But the thing's been in the box for like 3 years already, so it's not like I've been looking at them and scrutinizing them before I finally threw them into use. And they're not creasing in the exact same spot on both boots, which is annoying because, again, like I said, that Thursday boot's the only one that's kind of done that correctly. But there is a little bit, sorry, I sound kind of nasally for some reason. I'm not that stuffed up, but as soon as I start to talk is when everything goes wrong. But they do have a little bit of flex behind the toe cap that's kind of hidden in there. And you don't really feel the toe cap up here so much as you know it's there. Like I said, you can see the line pretty easily. And of course, this is not, you know, rigid, heavy duty leather like this one, where, you know you're wearing it, but it does still, after a while, you know, it still gets kind of I mean, I prefer the higher boots, but at the same time, if it's warmer or if I don't really need it, then like I kind of get annoyed having the extra. But these are 8, not 10, and those are 8, not 10 as well. So I haven't been wearing the Builder Pros or anything lately yet. So you can see with the taller heel and the much higher. But when I'm wearing these, like, I don't know, it doesn't like annoy me because I don't know. I'm you know, kind of accustomed to it if I'm wearing it because I need it ish more. But I really do still prefer this to the 6 for the most part. Because what was annoying me about this one was actually the back here, this back stay, where it's kind of thick there, where they've done the thing, this stitch and this seam and whatnot. Like I was really feeling that, not wanting to give enough yet. Again, if I wear them around the house a bit, I think that'll ease up. Whereas these, like, that is not an issue at all. It's, you know, these don't really require any break-in. You can pretty much wear them out of the box as long as they're the right size. And like I said, they're borderline. They're a narrow running boot, but these are not the steel toe ones. So yeah, you just kind of wear them. And the bigger issue is the right one. It's always the right one for some reason. I don't know why. This right one has a bad spot in the foam insert that they sent me. You can see it probably if I don't make the whole thing blurry. See, there's a hole there. I don't know. That feels like it's my whole foot when I first put it on. And then once I've had it on for a while, I don't really notice it, I guess. And it's picked up a lot of fuzzy from the sock in less than a week. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm not sure if I can get replacements of these through the same site as the boots, or if I need to just go to a shoe store and just buy whatever that hopefully will fit. I don't know. I haven't looked into that, but I do have other pairs that I can maybe swap that out. And they have, like, that's another layer of foam under there. So they're pretty squishy. The guy around the corner was saying, well, as long as they're comfortable. It's like, yeah, they're comfortable, but there's not that much arch support. And I'm used to wearing those Wolverine loader ones, the 6-inch ones, where there's not really that much more arch support either, but the wedge is so thick and the thing and so I've molded my foot, I guess, a little bit more to those to where they feel a bit more supportive, so they don't hurt as much after I've been walking for a little bit. These aren't as, even though they're all cushion, they're not quite as perfect as I'd like them to be, but we'll see how that goes as they wear in. If these insoles just turn into a nightmare, which is entirely possible, or, you know, what I have to do to recraft these. And eventually I've said before, I might replace the wedge with something more like this and use them more for hiking boots, that kind of thing. Even though, again, I might like a little bit more support with hiking boots, but in warm weather, these are plenty supportive, but it's hot and I don't really feel like wearing them. So, you know, that kind of thing. So what else? I don't know. So yeah, that's the week in boots, really, mostly. You know, I mean, like I said, there's some scratches and dents. And this one, a little bit. Also scratches and dents, just not, you know, not a ton of wear yet. Not a lot to really talk about. This one, the tag is mostly intact. This one, for some reason, the tag is kind of peeling out. So I don't know if I'm going to lose that entirely and just, I don't know, throw it in a box or something, because it looks like it's not going to stay. It might be stitched at the top, but the stitch is kind of wonky. Made in USA with USA and globally sourced components. And then I think this is one of those is the model number 8144201, I think. I don't know. So yeah, exciting. So yeah, until I don't think I'll do an update next week. Like I said, if something significant happens, and you know, unless there's a big defective issue goes on with something, or something seriously malfunctions, I don't expect to be able to wear any of these enough in a week to really show that much. But the whole point of this is just to kind of use up boots that I haven't really used, that have been neglected. So like I said, wearing these off and on for a few weeks now got them some use. You can see where there's a little bit of wear on the heel from the natural pronation or something, but like the outsoles are nowhere near worn. I mean, like, again, not even anywhere near resole territory, even walking on the street. Just a little bit of wear on the edges. And the outsoles of these barely show any dirt. There's a little bit of scuffing, but the Wolverine ones have a lot more noticeable use there. I didn't show the bottom of both of these, I guess. I don't remember which one was which, but like there's no. And I've worn these a lot. I've worn these like way more than these and those other ones put together. And the bottom is still nowhere near any, even, there's a tiny smidge of dentation on the other, this, yeah, I mean, so we got a ways to go. And like I said, when I started this challenge, I don't expect them to all show a lot of wear and tear in only 2 months, because 2 months is not very long in terms of boots. It might be pretty long in terms of, you know, a pair of jeans or something. But, and I'm not on any time schedule where I'm like specifically wearing this boot for this many hours on this day, then this many hours for this boot on this day to compare them to each other. I'm not really comparing them to each other in that capacity, apart from, like I said, you know, this leather is way different. So of course it's going to perform differently, but I'm not going to use them for the exact same tasks necessarily either. So we'll see. So as always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I know it seemed like I rambled a bit, but I should be able to edit out some dead air time later, tomorrow or whenever. So skip ahead if you get bored watching my blurry face. And of course, if you made it this far, you already did that. So, right.